we say John or Sarah is phenomenally qualified for a job is that because of their experiences playing traditional sports, they have developed traits with real value in the workplace. Diligence, perseverance, teamwork. And think of how I've just... Doesn't it sound like mechanical skill, strategic skill, leadership?
Siema.
Those develop all those same traits.
Dzisiaj znowu gotowce.
More to the point, in today's fast-paced digital
Raclette burger.
I think I might rather
6,50.
have a pro gamer on my team than a traditional.
Nie ma siły, kurde.
After all, I know that
Robimy,
these
robimy
guys
i robimy.
decide to go over voice chat, and I'm sure doing a lot of Zoom calls today in my business. So maybe now I've convinced you that esports and video games deserve a little more respect, right? If not, let me try to make one last final appeal. Because look at it this way. Our society is changing. Technology is fundamentally infiltrating every aspect of our daily lives, transforming everything from how we work to how we fall in love. Why should sports be any different? You know, I think of my own childhood. You know, I grew up watching the World Cup with my family. And I learned to love soccer in large part because I watched it with my dad. And I would have loved doing anything with him. And now
Dużo mięsiwa.
but instead of soccer, we're watching esports, not the violent ones,
majonezu.
but I'm building the same sorts of memories with my kids that my father did with me. We're marveling at the same skill and reveling in the same victory. It is an identical feeling of pure awe and excitement. It's just a different game. Thank you very much.
I just want to start off by saying, I so hear you, William. I really do, because I've always had an affinity for sports, and I was raised at a time where there were stereotypes against what it meant to be a video game player. And I really appreciate William opening my eyes to see the richness of this booming industry and how much we can actually learn from video games. So building on William's ideas, I think there are really valuable ways we can integrate video games into the workplace. And here are a few. Ropes courses, field days, softball teams. Companies use these all the time to bond people. But not everyone is physically inclined, physically able, or even physically around these days. So instead, what if you offer gaming as another way for people to connect? Think of all the benefits. Different people get a chance to lead, not just the uber athletic like me. But let's not forget the changing times. Through gaming, people can connect remotely and learn to use digital tools to bond. And not only that, but instead of exposing your coworker to your sweaty, funky self, you don't even need to be yourself. You can take on an avatar and a new persona as a player, allowing you to see things from a different perspective in the process. So next time you're organizing an offsite, instead of the usual trust fall, try to find a video game that builds trust. So you can use video games to help people connect, but you might also be able to use them to identify the right people for a job. I came across a tweet, and I quote, "I firmly believe that I learned more about building businesses from playing StarCraft than I learned from business books." That was a quote from Toby Lutka, the CEO of Shopify. And he's not the only one who feels this way. John Seeley Brown, an organizational researcher, once said he would rather hire a high-level World of Warcraft player than an MBA from Harvard. I don't know, John, but I think I get your point, which is that the skills you build in certain video games can map really well to certain roles in organizations. So here's my recommendation for hiring. Open your mind, because a raid leader for World of Warcraft may be the perfect person for the job you're trying to fill. And here's my recommendation for myself right now. I don't really know what World of Warcraft is, and I'm not about to go play it. But it's certainly the case that if I come across it on someone's resume, or if somebody is avidly talking about it, like I used to talk
Dzisiaj
about
ostre
sports,
pierdzielanie.
I'm going to have a new perspective on what they bring to the table.
Do tego kiełbacha z ziemniakami, też gotowiec. 400 gram, nie wiem czy ja to zjem. Zobaczymy zaraz. Jestem taki głodny. No to jest masakra z tą robotą, kurde. Ja nie jestem zwyczajny tak robić, kurde, tyle godzin. To jest minus w
We like
Szwajcarii.
to hike, we like to climb around in the mountains, I like to be out an hour and a half from civilization fishing. My wife's super active and she just loves being out at the gym, running, doing all that kind of stuff.
Meet Randy Norris.
I live in a town just outside of Boise, Idaho. I'm a financial advisor with Morgan Stanley. I'm married to a wonderful partner for our life, Leanne, and I have 2 now adult kids.
One day, Leanne suffered a life-threatening medical emergency. She suddenly started coughing up blood that was filling her lungs.
Tu faktycznie jak niewolnik, kurde, od rana do wieczora w robocie.
For the next 4 or 5 days and did all kinds of tests trying to figure out what was going on. The only thing that really came of it that we were told was that it shouldn't happen again, but it could happen at any time. And so basically the advice was never be more than 10 or 15 minutes away from the hospital.
Randy and Leanne were scared and devastated at the thought of spending the rest of their lives tethered to a hospital. But then, Randy got a phone call from his insurance provider.
She said, I noticed you've been going to see a number of different doctors. Are you getting the care you need? Immediately I just said, no.
No tak to jest, są bogaci i biedni
We have something
niewolnicy.
wrong and nobody has a good answer, and I'm really frustrated. And she said, well, Morgan Stanley offers their employees
I
this
taka jest
service
tylko
called
różnica.
SecondMD.
The purpose of a expert medical opinion service is really to provide a different point of view that can help avoid surgeries.
Tu niby się jest
potentially
bogatszym,
save unnecessary
ale
doctor's
kosztem
visits,
czasu.
maybe identify an alternative diagnosis or treatment that hadn't been considered.
Dużo mniej czasu
especially
człowiek
when
ma dla
there's
siebie.
a major decision to be made.
This is Dr. Dave Stark, Morgan Stanley's chief
Żeby
medical
korzystać z
officer.
tych pieniędzy.
Fundamentally, the job of a chief medical officer, or frankly, the job of an HR benefits professional, is to develop and manage a portfolio of products and services to help employees and their families stay healthy, happy, and productive.
That's what SecondMD did for Randy and his family. After being connected to specialists across the country, Leanne traveled to Oregon, where she was diagnosed with a microvascular dysfunction and underwent a successful surgery.
After about 3 months of just not being able to figure out what was going on, SecondMD came in, and within 3 weeks, we had
Ale
a plan
pyszne
of
są te
action that
obiadki.
was just guided and stepped all the way through. I've been a raving fan of SecondMD ever since.
Research shows that employees' commitment and loyalty depends heavily on feeling cared about and supported by their employer. Morgan Stanley has worked to meet employees where they are with services they need, in person or virtually, from child and elder to special needs care. As for Randy, he and his wife Leanne are counting their blessings.
On the anniversary of her surgery, she ran her first half marathon. Life is precious, life is short. We should enjoy it and take a moment, but every now and then just reflect on the blessings we have and the miracles that happen that get us to where we're at.
Morgan Stanley believes employees are their greatest asset, and they protect that asset by offering top-quality healthcare options and comprehensive
Kurde, jeszcze jednego by się wziął.
physical and emotional
Jakie
well-being.
pyszne.
Learn more at morganstanley.com/.
I tanie, kurde.
Hi, it's Medusa, and
Kurde,
today
nie wziąłem
we're sharing
sobie kawy?
another episode from Zigzag, the business
A
show about
Coca-Colę
being
sobie
human
wziąłem.
that is also a part of the TED Audio Collective. Hope you enjoy it.
I'm Adam Grant, and as an organizational psychologist, I believe in rethinking ideas we've taken for granted to learn how to live better. In my new podcast, Rethinking, I ask today's greatest minds how they think and what assumptions we should all reconsider. Listen to Rethinking wherever you get your podcasts. Hi, this is Adam Grant, host of the TED podcast Work Life.
Kurde, jeszcze bym wszedł do tego sklepu i wziął jeszcze jeden taki obiadek. Takie pyszne. Ale po robocie może sobie tu przyjadę. Gdzieś ciul wie, gdzie ja będę dzisiaj w robocie tak naprawdę. Co wy tam piszecie? Nie rozumiem pytania. Ryszard Wadas napisał na YouTubie, czy u Ciebie w firmie nie ma przerwy śniadaniowej 15-30 minut na posiłek jak w Polsce. No jak teraz mam przerwę przecież. Teraz mam przerwę dokładnie. Chyba nie wyglądam, żebym teraz robił. Na szczęście. Ale nie jest tu jak w Polsce. Tutaj jest jak w Szwajcarii. Kurde, czemu nie gra muza?
Confidence she needed to re-enter the workforce.
So I would describe this moment in my career as purpose-driven and financially unsustainable.
This is Amy from Nova Scotia.
So I work for a charitable organization, which is awesome. I like
Dobra,
what we do. I like what
ja
we
już
stand
pojedzony.
for, but the pay is terrible,
Na
and
deser
the organization's
szamam
financial
se
setup
pistacji, tu
is
trochę mam.
unsustainable. My actual goal
I
in
jeszcze
life
kiełbachą
is
dowalę
to
chyba.
be financially free. And
Mam
I've been
taką
saying that since I was
kiełbasę
15,
dziwną.
so maybe I'll
Jak
get that right.
kabanosy?
I'm 37 now. It's only
Taka wysuszona
22 years
trochę.
in the making.
Ale to jest
First of
wołowina
all,
zmieszana.
Congratulations on making half of your dreams come true, working for an organization that you believe in. And yeah, now it sounds like you're ready
Ze
to
świnką.
pursue the other half. But that is a big conundrum that many people are facing. You know what you want to do, but you're not sure how it's going to get you paid.
Jak jesteś, Ryszardzie, to
And for those of you who have figured out
rozjaśnij
what you wanna
mi
do
to pytanie,
and
to
who
ci
are getting
odpowiem.
paid, it is so
Chociaż mówiłem o tym 100 razy
you
już.
feel like
Ale ty często mnie oglądasz.
I don't ever want to let any work go back out.
Ale rozwiń to pytanie, o co ci chodzi dokładnie, to ci odpowiem.
Lead to more loss of business if people think I'm not available, but I just got more on my plate than I can handle. I've always felt like I could just get through on sheer willpower and perseverance, and step back and think a little bit more about strategy and planning.
strategy and planning, here we come. And I promise we're going to make it fun. It's Zigzag, the business show about being human. I'm Anoush Zamarodi, and you have made it to step 4 of the Zigzag Project, our experiment, our process to try and align our personal values with our professional ambitions. And up until now, we have stayed in the neutral zone, just kind of thinking and feeling and imagining with little limitations. But on this episode, we're going to get a bit more practical. We're going to consider what we're willing to sacrifice and what we would never give up, even for the money. Let's talk about the money for a minute. And I want to go back to what the Zigzag beta testers reported on the survey. They told me that money matters, but that income is just one consideration. 70% say the reason they want to make a professional change
Anetka
is
zniknęła, no.
to make a ton more money. And the majority agreed that the goal
Zakochała
also
się
is to
podobno.
be well known or famous for their work. The goal
Okej.
is to do
No,
something
muszę...
meaningful,
Widzicie, przerwa,
wonderful.
a już tu firmowe WhatsAppy dostaję. Także muszę przeczytać WhatsAppa. Jak coś, to pisz, to w następnym lajcie ci wyjaśnię wszystko. Ryszardzie, o co chodzi.
Do absolutely everything I can.
Miłego dnia.
Our current environmentally destructive